There are some lessons about money that we were wrongly taught, and there are several reasons for this. Times change. What held true 50 years ago may no longer be valid today. Social circumstances also change, along with the opportunities and ways we earn money. It's important to update some of our mindsets to align with the times we truly live in. We must also understand that if we learn lessons about money and money management from people who lived in poverty and who couldn't or didn't know how to change their financial situation, it's crucial to recognize that their advice may not be applicable to us if we want to learn how to build our financial freedom. Many people today experience a clash between the inner child who believes their parent and the adult who is educated, reading, learning, and absorbing new knowledge. This conflict between the two parts of us often sabotages many people from applying what they've learned and changing their financial situation. Money Lesson 1. Save for a rainy day. We all learned in childhood how important it is to save and think about the future. I agree that it's essential not to live from day to day and to acknowledge that tomorrow may not come. However, I disagree that saving is the best possible strategy for this. Another aspect I disagree with is the part about rainy days. Of course, life will serve us different circumstances, and not every day can be the best possible. But the phrase rainy days suggests that everything we have today could disappear at any moment, as if we have no control over it. Life is sometimes unpredictable, presenting us with circumstances beyond our control. On the other hand, if we believe in both good and bad days, it's as if we relinquish our active role in our lives and the responsibility to regularly create our reality. Life will present various circumstances, sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant, but anyone who works on themselves has at least heard the saying, our lives don't depend on the circumstances we face, but on how we handle them and how we respond. Situations in life are neither good nor bad, positive nor negative. They can be painful, difficult, or uncomfortable. And we can take something good from each one, using them to build our potential so we can grow and acquire skills we otherwise wouldn't have. For instance, for me, a health experience at 21 completely transformed how I perceive myself, life, and the opportunities that arise. I began to perceive what is stressful and what isn't in a completely different light. Had I not gone through that, I believe I would have functioned very differently and gained certain insights much later. Instead of saving for a rainy day, my advice is to start investing for golden days. The money you earn should be used to find ways to grow it even more. By focusing on golden days, shift your mindset positively and start thinking that your best days are yet to come. What I often see with my clients is that when they finally resolve some immediate challenges and organize their daily lives, they start earning well. Most believe that this is the end, that they have finally put things in order, and that this is the best they can experience in life. The questions, how can this be even better? How can we discover new levels of possibility? Remind them that we are always growing, evolving, and changing. What seems like a limit today, with no possibility for improvement, may open up a completely new level tomorrow, revealing that there's always more, further, and better. Many people find it very challenging to invest for golden days because they are still haunted by the narrative that they must save, that they must be frugal, and that spending is forbidden. This tight relationship with money also follows them when it comes to earning. We can illustrate this by trying to tightly close your fists, which would symbolize a tight grip on money and difficulty in spending or letting it go. With equally tightly closed fists, try to receive something. If your fists are closed to giving and releasing money, then it's no wonder they are also closed to receiving more. So, lesson number 1, don't save for a rainy day, invest for golden days. Money lesson 2, turn every dollar twice. This lesson might sound reasonable and desirable. It's what we grew up with. It meant that we shouldn't be extravagant or hasty when it comes to spending money. We need to think carefully about where to invest, where to spend, where to give, and where not to. I agree that we should have respect in our relationship with money and not squander the money we earn. The reason I consider this lesson incorrect is that I believe it is incomplete. It overlooks a very important aspect, the time component. We were taught to think carefully about the money we want or don't want to spend, but we weren't taught how crucial it is to consider the time spent while making decisions. This is one of the lessons that keeps most people stuck at the financial level they grew up with and never moving beyond certain numbers because they continue to value money more than time. For every entrepreneur, time is a much more valuable currency than money, because in time, they create money. The point is to learn how to earn as much money as possible in the shortest time frame. while you're deciding whether to invest 1,000 euros or not. If you spend hours or days contemplating this decision, you're wasting a much more valuable resource, time. If you had used that time to think of ways to earn, you could have made that $5,000 and much more. I know this lesson won't resonate with everyone, but I also know that redefining beliefs and letting go of control led me to my financial freedom. It was very difficult for me to make quick decisions regarding investments because, like many of us, I lack security. I didn't have a guarantee that what I invested in would yield the expected value. By choosing to take risks, I was accepting that I might be wrong. I realized that by making decisions more quickly, some right, some wrong, I ultimately saved time, and in that time, through experience from both good and bad decisions, I learned how to generate more money. I'm not talking about investments that came later, like whether to invest $50,000 in a business this year. I'm talking about the early days when the question of whether to invest $200 in some education was a significant one for me. I literally remember the physical pain that accompanied the weight of deciding whether to take that risk. Thanks to ultimately making that decision and investing, I learned essential skills and knowledge that I needed, and because of that, I generated new money. When I repeated that process enough times, I reached financial freedom. Had I spent months wondering whether to invest, whether to take risks, I would likely still be at that same place, thinking that $200 was too much. It costs you more in the time you take too long to make a decision than the decision itself, whether it turns out to be right or wrong. Money lesson 3. Money is security. Money provides us with certain opportunities that are important to us, such as existential questions like how to pay bills, what to eat, etc. The reason I've labeled this lesson as incorrect is that it plants the seeds of very harmful and misleading expectations that I encounter with a large number of clients. Many entrepreneurs expect that once they generate more money, they will finally feel secure and can then relax and enjoy. This expectation is extremely unrealistic because the feeling of security or insecurity does not stem from the balance in our accounts, but from the way we think. My sense of security doesn't come from the material possessions I have or from the money in my account, but from the fact that I know I've earned it through my work, and even if I lose everything, I know how to regain it quickly. If I believed that my security depended on my account balance, I would be excessively reliant on that state, constantly checking to ensure no one takes it from me, that no one steals from me, that I don't end up without something. I would be tightly spending and investing, constantly debating whether to guide clients to this place or that, whether to invest in some expensive software, or whether to do it this way or that, and in that time, I would lose a significant amount of value. I would likely invest less, and consequently, develop my business more slowly. What's even more dangerous and worse is the fact that if I believe that money is what generates a sense of security, then, at the moment I encounter a larger sum of money and feel insecurity, I start questioning what's wrong with me. Someone who hasn't yet earned a significant amount of money may feel confused and unclear. They might think that once they earn that larger sum, they will finally feel secure. If you grew up with low incomes, if your parents had average earnings, and you didn't grow up with wealth or material abundance, then a larger amount of money may feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable. How can more money be uncomfortable? Everything unknown to our minds is initially off-putting. When you encounter a larger sum of money, it's no wonder that at first, you may feel very uncomfortable. You will constantly question whether you are a fraud, and all those thoughts will arise. Those who lie steal, and those who steal have. You may feel like a thief, like a lesser person, like you belong less to your family who struggled. A wave of fears, feelings of guilt, and self-criticism ensues, and this is anything but pleasant. On the other hand, when you understand that money is just potential security, that it can provide security only after you release the various blocks you carry in your mindset, then you will approach the situation with much more realistic expectations. When you earn a larger amount of money, you will know what process awaits you. You will recognize that there's nothing strange or wrong. I hope this video has helped you, at least a little, to understand how important it is to realize that money cannot and should not shape us, but is something we create to make our lives easier. If you liked the video, click the button and subscribe to my channel.